I haven't, and I keep threatening to come.
That's all I needed. Thanks, Sam.
No, I mean, my wife talked about it. We were talking about doing it this summer, but the problem is you're either working on something and then you can't go, or if you're off and free, it's not the best time of year to go, you know, because the summer is the best time, right?
Yeah, it's the only time we don't get rain, so yeah.
Yeah. But Dublin's great and all year round, right?
Sure. Oh, yeah, no, the weather's
the indoor weather is very good in
Dublin. We've worked out things to do indoors at this stage, yeah.
Good.
I was thinking your mission here, should you wish to accept it, is to take a $1.4 billion franchise and by adding a roughly, I think, $145 million movie, reinvigorate and restart, and I don't know whether all of that, as it was presented to you, was...
That sounds incredibly complicated, what you just described, you know.
Two figures, yeah. I suppose,
I think I probably would have resigned if it were put to me that way. I think that really the goal anytime you make a movie is to make a movie that you yourself would want to see, and that was just, that's the only thing that makes any sense to me. All this other stuff, when you start thinking about it as a job that you do, your job is to entertain people of any age, of any nationality, couple of years, find out what they want to see 2 years from now. It's like it's impossible, and you would just resign if it were put to you that way. So I think the only way that makes any sense is to make a movie that you would want to see and hope that other people agree with you.
I know it was after The Incredibles that Tom called you from Tokyo, I think it was, and he said that if you ever, you know, direct...
I actually went to his house. He called me up after The Incredibles and said, "Hey man, you want to come over and just talk?" And so I came over and we talked for about 2 or 3 hours about what we love about film and favorite films, and we hit it off so well. He had this really extensive knowledge and loves it. And so it was really like just being, you know, another guy in film school, only he happened to be very famous.
Well, that idea then that he sort of originally kind of, you know, apparently sort of said he'd love you to direct him sometime, and then J.J. Abrams a little bit more recently sent you a one-word text, I think. It just said mission with a question mark.
Yeah. Well, I'd known J.J. for a number of years, and we had been looking for opportunities to work together, and the timing never worked out. And when I was working on this film called 1906 and having trouble getting the narrative to work in the way that I wanted, I went to Bad Robot with Michael Giacchino, who did the music for Incredibles, Ratatouille, Mission, and he also did the JJ's Last Mission and Star Trek. So he was kind of this in this zone between us, and we had lunch down there, and JJ kind of did a double take and said, "Hey, what are you up to?" And I said, "I'm kind of looking around." And that night, I got a text at about 11:30 at night that just said, "Mission?" question mark. And I thought, oh, there's a new Mission Impossible film, and it sort of went from there.
You were saying that this is the kind of crazy that I got into this business for, you know, this sort of, you know, these sort of productions and being able to get right in the thick of a fairly, you know, ambitious piece of work and keep it focused. Did it ever feel, given the scale of this, you're on a 2,723-foot building in Dubai, the tallest building in the world, you've got to shoot a particularly dangerous scene. Moments like that, does it ever feel like this might be the wrong kind of crazy? This might just be a little bit too crazy?
You know, I've had sort of those dark nights of the soul on almost every film that I've done, including Ratatouille. You know, there I kind of came aboard a film that had been being built for a number of years and was just resisting coming together as a story, and so I had to race on that film in order to get it, you know, done on the original schedule. So that was good training for this, because a lot of it was trial by fire. But I think that when you're given the opportunity to work with people whose work you admire so much, and not just people like Tom and Jeremy Renner and Simon Pegg in front of the camera, but also, you know, Robert Elswit, a brilliant cinematographer, Jim Bissell, a great production designer, Paul Hirsch edited everything from Star Wars to Ray and Ferris Bueller's Day Off as an editor, and Gary Rydstrom, one of the greatest sound designers. When you get a chance to work with these people, you have to kind of pinch yourself. you know.
I was thinking that this all started. You were born in small town Montana, and then grew up, I think, in Oregon somewhere.
Yes.
But you were 3. You did a little sort of sequential drawing of a little rabbit called Boinky, and that was
wow.
sort of like
You've done your research.
It's my job. But then you were 10, and Jungle Book kind of made you realize could actually not just be a hobby. This could be something you do for a living.
Well, yeah, I thought adults were kind of dull when I was a kid, and I wasn't looking forward to being one until I realized that there were these really bizarre jobs that exist and people actually get income from. And one of them was the position of animator, where somebody's job to figure out how an arrogant panther moves, and they're respected. They're not shunned, you know. And so suddenly the world seemed to open up, and there were all these jobs in the arts and the sciences that were wonderful and challenging, and it sounded like a great thing to be an adult suddenly.
Did you get your Cal Arts room A113 in here? I don't know if you managed to.
You might
maybe
see it
I'll have to look again.
Just keep your eyes peeled.
Very
might even be in IMAX.
Ah, there we go. Very quickly, I'll just ask if your 1906. It's down on IMDb as a 2012 movie. Obviously, a big production. This is, you know, I don't know whether it's something that you think or hope. Well, next year I'll get to it, or.
Yeah, I mean, I did a lot of work on it myself, writing it, and you know, I could get really great scenes to happen, but getting them to all work together was very challenging. I had another writer working on the script while I was doing Mission Impossible, and you know, I remain hopeful that can all come together. But you know, there's no point to do any of this if it doesn't work as a story. And there's no shortage of great things about that place at that moment in time. It's just trying to get them all shoved into a movie-sized box that's the challenge.
And would you be able to very quickly, it's just, I know in 2007 you said that you had good pieces but not all of them fit together. The Incredibles, a perfect movie as far as I'm concerned. I don't know whether you're still hoping and thinking,
sure, I mean, you know, it's hard to talk about how your brain is when you're doing this stuff. It's kind of like a big shop floor, and there's a number of things kind of under construction, you know, and sometimes you work on something for a little bit and then you kind of set it aside and wander over here, and there's a point at which you realize something's ready to get all your attention, and you kind of converge on that thing, so I would love to figure out an Incredibles, a next Incredibles. I am interested in 1906. And there are other ideas that I haven't discussed with anybody in the press that are equally interesting to me and challenging. And you know, I just hope I get the opportunity to make them.
You can tell me all about them when the cameras are off. That'd be great.
All right.